and welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. I'm Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Diva S. And I think this is episode 40. So it's October 16th, I believe, 2017. It's a Monday. And this is my last podcast before Rhinebeck. I'm so excited about Rhinebeck, and I'll talk about Rhinebeck coming up. It's lots of news and lots of fun shenanigans will be happening. Welcome. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. Welcome to my new subscribers. I've gotten a few. I think that's because you watch the Mean Girls. I'm so excited. Anyway, thank you so much for the lovely comments and messages. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who's participated in the knit-alongs. I have closed the threads for the Spirit of Rhinebeck knit-along that I'm doing with the Moms with Yarn. I have chosen the winners. I have figured out the prizes. And I'll talk about that at the end of the podcast, because if you're new and didn't participate, or if you just didn't participate, maybe you're not that interested. Like I said, I'm going to Rhinebeck. I'm sorry if you're not going to Rhinebeck and you're tired of hearing people talk about going to Rhinebeck, because I understand completely. I don't get to go to SSK, and I hear people talk about SSK, and it sounds like so much fun. So I understand if you're tired of hearing about Rhinebeck. So you might want to fast forward because I'm going to talk about Rhinebeck. I'm so excited. So the big news since last we met is that Rebecca and Stephanie of the Mean Girls are going to come and stay with us. We're so excited, Dennis and me and Pearl. They are coming to Rhinebeck. They fly in, I think Saturday morning, and I'm buying the cider donuts in the morning, so they'll have cider donuts as soon as they arrive, whenever that is. And so they're spending Saturday afternoon. They're in a Airbnb with lovely people. I'm so jealous. They're staying with David Dog Dare from the Dog Dare podcast, and Nancy from the Round Rabbit podcast, and Lorelei from Handmade by Lorelei podcast. And they were supposed to be staying with Jake and Ray of the Dog Star Knits Make Cast, but Jake and Ray have had big news, and things are going on in their lives, and they won't actually be able to go to Rhinebeck this year, I don't think. So it's not that that's my news to tell, but Ray's been talking about it on Instagram, so it's not like a surprise or anything. But anyway, so Stephanie and Rebecca were originally planning to stay with them, but now they're staying with us, and we're so excited. So they'll be, we'll all be at the show on Sunday, and then drive down here. I think it's about a 4-hour drive to our house, and then they don't leave until Monday night. So I'm planning on showing them around Philly a little bit and getting cheesesteaks. Rebecca's so excited about the cheesesteaks. Well, if you're not living around Philly, whatever they say they're feeding you and calling it a Philly cheesesteak, it's not. It's not. Trust me when I tell you. It's not. Sometimes the meat is okay, but the bread's never right. The bread's never right. You got to have the bread from Philadelphia, and I'm not sure what bread that is. But, and usually the meat's not right either. So, anyway, if you're not getting it around Philly, now you don't have to be in Philadelphia. We have a local guy here in the western suburbs who's fabulous. So they may get 2 cheesesteaks, because I may just take them over there too, just so they can have a little taste testing. But anyway, so we're very excited. I'm so excited about Rhinebeck. It's crazy. It's going to be so much fun. My plan, I am not staying in the Cool Kids Airbnb, but I'm staying in Kingston in like the Super 8 motel because, oh my gosh, everything is so expensive. But the Super 8 motel, or whatever, Motel 6, or, one of those, is right next to the Best Western Conference Center, which is where the India Untangled show is on Friday night. So, I I have plans to meet some knitty friends Friday night and have dinner there and go to the Indie Untangled show. These are lovely women. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Gretchen. Unfortunately, not everybody from last year can come, but if you watched my Rhinebeck episode and remember it, oh my gosh, I mean, it's a year ago. Even if you watched it, you don't remember. But I went to the Indie Untangled show by myself. Last year was my first year at Rhinebeck, so I had no idea what was going to be happening to me. But I went by myself, and I had just started podcasting. I'd only had a few episodes. But, Dennis was so sweet. He says, "You're a knitting podcaster. You have to go to Rhinebeck," which I love that guy. He's so sweet. So anyway, so I went, but I was by myself. I had no idea what to expect, but I went to the Indie Untangled show. And that's a lot of fun. I don't know how many vendors are in there, maybe 30. I'm not sure, but all really high quality indie dyers. Vine is there, Molly Girl is there, Oink Pigments is there, Hugh Loco's going to be there this year. I mean, lots and lots of wonderful indie dyers. But last year I went and it was crowded, and so I just wandered into the next room, which turned out to be a restaurant, and I hadn't eaten. So I sat down and ate. And next to me ended up a group of lovely, lovely women, and I'm sitting there knitting, and they're sitting there being, they're knitters, and so we started talking, and they invited me to join their group, and they were so lovely. And you know how it is in the knitting community, we ended up keeping in touch over social media. So just to make a short story really long, I'm meeting up with those ladies again for Friday night for dinner, and I'm so excited to see them again. And it just, last year, my dinner with them just set the amazing tone for the whole weekend, and it just made Rhinebeck so special. So I'm so excited to be able to go and have dinner with them again on Friday night and reprise my lovely experience at Rhinebeck. That's in Kingston on Friday night. So I'm so excited to see these ladies. And so that's Friday night, so I'm going to Indie Untangled. And then on Saturday is the podcasters meetup. I hope that if you're there, you will say hi. I brought my swag, this year's swag. Last year I made autumn leaves. This year I made my flowers. I've been making flowers. If you saw me at Maryland Sheep and Wool, you got a flower. If you saw me at, I think I made the flowers also for Vogue Knitting Live. It turns out the flowers turn out pretty, and I can make a lot of them pretty easily. So I don't know what I'm going to do for next year to try to change it up a little bit. But I have been, working on some other things. The pigs are so cute and so easy, but pigs don't have a lot of reference to knitting, but they were so easy to make. And the sheep are not as easy, let me tell you. But anyway, so I've been working on those. I have presents to give, and so those are going in my present packages. But this is my swag. Oh, presents to give. Prizes for the knit-alongs. So anyway, so this is my swag for Rhinebeck. So if you see me, stop me, introduce yourself. I would love to meet you. I'm so excited to meet people at Rhinebeck, and I will have my little flower stitch markers. So that's Saturday. Saturday night, oh, maybe I should have messaged Nancy and Lorelei and warned them. I'm crashing that cool Airbnb and try to hang out with those guys on Saturday night. I'll tell you the truth. With the Mean Girls and David and Nancy and Lorelei. I hope they don't mind, but oh my gosh, when Jake and Ray told me that they were getting this house at Rhinebeck, they probably could see how green I was with envy. I was so jealous. So anyway, I am going to come and at least say hi and hang for a little while on Saturday night. And then Sunday, I think, I'm going back to the show. That's the day to maybe actually buy some things, because Saturday is a madhouse. Saturday is so crazy. You can barely get close to anything. So it's just a day to scope out, to meet people, maybe look at the sheep. Although Sunday is the leaping llamas, and last year was my first year, and I stayed in Poughkeepsie, which is about a half an hour south of Rhinebeck, and I bought a lot of stuff on Saturday, and when I woke up on Sunday, I was tired, and I would have had to drive a half an hour north back up to Rhinebeck and then be driving south on the way back. And I decided to skip Sunday. And I was sorry that I did, because Sunday is, supposed to be quieter and a better day. I am not skipping Sunday this year. And in fact, Sunday is when the leaping llamas are. So, leaping llamas sounds fun. Why not? Anyway, so that's the plan. And then Sunday night, Stephanie and Rebecca are going to come to our house and hang out with me and Dennis and Pearl, and have to see what their timing is. And we may go get cheesesteaks at my local place on Sunday night. I'm not sure. Depends on when we get there, and try to get into Philadelphia for a little while on Monday before they have to go back home. So that should be a lot of fun. So I'm so excited. And the crazy thing is, I've been so excited about Rhinebeck that I haven't been focusing on my next vacation. And I've talked to you about my vacation just in passing, but I'm going to be gone for a little over 2 weeks in November. It's a trip of a lifetime. And I've been so focused on Rhinebeck, it's been hard to kind of focus beyond Rhinebeck, but I'm going to Egypt. I'm so excited. Our tour group that we like, the Overseas Adventure Travel, their sister company is called Grand Circle. It's we really like them. I highly recommend them. They do tours, and we take tours when we're going to places where you kind of need a tour. And there is no way that I would go to the Middle East by myself without somebody paying attention and knowing exactly what to do. And when I saw in their literature that they had added a trip to Israel, Jordan, and Egypt, I told Dennis, I know we've already done our big trip, but we have to go on this trip. Because I'm afraid, the political climate will change. Who knows what's going to happen? They may never offer this trip again. And I had assumed I would never be able to see the ancient wonders of Egypt. Just because life and politics and everything. And so when they offered this, I'm like, we're signing up, we're going. So this will be our second big trip this year. But anyway, it's going to be so amazing. And it's so funny that I'm so excited about Rhinebeck. I've hardly thought about our other trip. So anyway, I'm going to Egypt. I'm so excited. I'm going to see the pyramids and the Sphinx. And Rhinebeck. All right, this is enough. To just see what you can tell my coffee's starting to cool off, because this is my David's tea mug. Isn't it nice? And when it gets cold, those sheep are black. See? The coffee's gone from up there, so it's cold. But my coffee's cooling off, so you can see. Pretty soon I'm going to be drinking this. This is going to be black, and I'm drinking cold coffee. But my coffee maker, I've talked about it before, it makes 1 cup at a time, and it needs a big kind of solid mug to make the coffee in. So I was really happy with this mug. Really happy with the mug. And it was a reasonable price. I've collected other mugs that I spent a lot of money on. I mean, this, it was $17. So, it wasn't $5, but it wasn't $50 either. So anyway, my new David's mug from David's Tea. I also got some cool teas and things. So that's my mug. So I've been sitting here in my sweater. I'm almost done. The only thing I haven't finished is I have to tack down this lining to the collar. And I have to put the buttons on permanently. But this is my Monte Rosa. And I have no got my spinning wheel back there. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to show you this very well, but I am so excited about my sweater. Can you see that? Oh my gosh, it is yummy and soft. It's got the beautiful cable detail. I did block it pretty aggressively because I was afraid it would be too small. Let's face facts. I was afraid it would be too small. But I made it longer. I like the length. It comes down almost to my middle knuckle. So it covers my bottom. And I am really happy with it. So the yarns that I used on this sweater are Fiber Spates Vivacious DK in the dark aqua colorway. This is 100% superwash merino. And it was a joy to work with. I love the way it feels. I love the stitch definition. It just really, I got that from Yarn Box a long time ago. And, what did I say? Oh, I didn't write it on here. But when I saw the color, I really liked it. I liked the yarn, so I ended up ordering more so I would have a, sweater's quantity. And in fact, I bought this pattern. This is the Monte Rosa by Isabel Kramer. I love Isabel Kramer's stuff. And I bought this pattern a long time ago too. So I had matched these two, but then I just hadn't started it, and I'm not sure why. So it's got garter stitch along the body of the everywhere that isn't the cable and lace is garter. The sleeve is stockinette. And I have a contrasting yarn, which is the North Light Fibers, which is Falkland Island wool, and in the color Jack's Blue and in their Atlantic base. And this has a completely different feel, look. The Fiber Spates is kind of shiny. I mean, it's 100% superwash wool, but it's kind of shiny. The Falkland Islands wool is not superwash. I need to keep that in mind. But, so it's kind of fuzzy. So it makes a nice contrast. This is all the yarn I have left. And I was worried as I was getting to the end of this sweater that I was not going to have enough yarn to finish both sides of the button band. So I did the button side of the button band in the contrasting yarn, and I did the lining of the collar in the contrasting yarn. Now the contrast in the pattern is along the bottom of the sleeve, along the bottom of the sweater, and along here. Like right around everywhere that was going into a ribbing. It was just around there for a few rows. And so I thought adding a little more of that contrast, you know, so now when I wear the sweater open, you know, there's a little bit more contrast showing, and more contrast showing here when the sweater is open like this. This is going to be tacked down. The buttons are also not permanently on. I was just putting them on so I could figure out where to put my buttonholes. So anyway, this is what I've been working on for the most of my time in the last couple weeks since I talked to you last. One thing I did was I did a buttonhole swatch to try to figure out my buttonholes and what I was going to do. I went online. The pattern calls for a yarn over for the buttonhole, and I do not like that kind of buttonhole. I put that kind of buttonhole on my granddaughter's sweaters, and it's fine for them, and their buttons are small, but, you know, I'm not having a tiny little button on this. So these are temporary buttons, but they actually don't look bad, and knowing me, once I put these on, it'll probably, unless I find the perfect button that just knocks my socks off, I'm sure these are going to be the buttons. And they go fine, and I'm pretty happy with them. I need to put them on, So anyway, I was practicing my buttonholes on my little buttonhole swatch. And then I saw another video, and I ended up doing a completely different buttonhole, but it turned out nice. But I had to redo this button band twice. The first time when I was knitting it, this blue knits at a little bit of a different gauge, and it seemed like the button band was a little narrow for me. So I think I added at least 1 row on this button band, maybe 2. So when I got to the other side using the regular yarn, I wasn't sure exactly how long I was going to knit it and where to put the buttonhole. And so the first time I knit too many rows. And so the buttonholes were going to go in the kind of the wrong place. So I had to tear it back to where I wanted to put the buttonholes. Then I put the buttonholes in, and I made the buttonholes 3. This is why you do a swatch, and why I should have done it again. I did it 3 rows, 3 stitches wide, and so then I finished that button band, and I put it on with the buttons, and all the buttons came out of the holes. It's like, okay, these buttonholes are, even though when you look at the when you put the button down on it, it looked like it was 5 rows wide, so I thought 3 would be okay. Well, it was too much. So now these are 2, and this is a cast off 2 stitches. Keep going. When you come back the other direction, you cast on 2 stitches. And I used just the backward loop cast on to cast them on. But they seem sturdy enough, and I don't think they're going to get a lot of pressure. So I think they're going to be fine. So that's what I have to do. I washed it. I blocked it. I thought it might still be a little damp, but it's not. So now I just have to tack down my collar facing and put my buttons on. And so I have my Monte Rosa for Rhinebeck. So this is my second Rhinebeck sweater. My first one was the Malin sweater by Isabel Kramer. That sweater isn't even going to Rhinebeck. It's not even supposed to be very chilly. It's going to be very disappointing for everybody who's worked so hard on their sweaters. But this is a cardigan, so I'll definitely be bringing it. I mean, the mornings might be cool, so we might need something. So I'll be bringing this one. Probably won't bring the Malin sweater, no point. Bring a couple shawls just in case I get chilly. Oh, I'm definitely bringing my snow melt shawl that I made, the mystery knit along with Helen Stewart. That was, I don't know, September or over the summer. I'm not sure exactly when. Because Helen Stewart is going to be at Indie Untangled in the Hue Logo booth. They have a mystery pattern and yarn combination that I got a notification about. So I'll be interested to see what that is. I am a member of Helen Stewart's Shawl Society too, but I think I've only done one of those shawls. The timing ended up not great. The second shawl, I lost steam, to tell you the truth, because the second shawl was a half pie shawl. And that's what the snow melt was, a half pie shawl. That's the first time I've done that, which is like the half circle. And I enjoyed knitting it. I knitted out of yarn I dyed. I loved that. I like the way it looks. I have no idea how to wear that shawl. And I didn't want another one. I didn't want another half pie shawl. It's a classic shawl. If I wore my shawls over my shoulders, like a shawl, it would be perfect, because that's what that shawl's designed for. It's not designed to be worn like a scarf around your neck. So anyway, that kind of stopped the momentum of the Shawl Society, and then other things came along, and I've been all about the sweater lately, as you know if you've been watching my show. So I finished Monte Rosa by Isabel Kramer. Love, love, love Isabel Kramer. I really liked the pattern. I enjoyed knitting it. When I started, I was like, oh my gosh, it takes 3 charts to do 1 row. But once I figured out what I was, the pattern, it was easy, and I didn't need to look at the charts at all, because it's, all I needed to do was keep track of what row was the cross row on the cables, and I was good to go. And I am so excited. This is my first cabled sweater. This is my first sweater, I think, with any real patterning in the knitting, and I really like it. I'm so excited. It fits great, although, like I said, I did kind of overblock it to make sure, because when I was knitting it, it felt like it was going to be a little bit small, but it is not small now, and I'm so excited to have it. This is my first cardigan that I made for myself, and I am over the moon and trying to figure out what my next cardigan is going to be, because I need more cardigans. I get cold. We keep our house at 66 in the wintertime, and I get cold. So I wear sweaters all the time. So I'm still making on the sweater kick. But the next sweater I knit is going to be my mother's sweater. I talked to you last time about my dilemma about trying my mother's sweater on. Thank God I did. Oh my gosh. It is way too small for her. This is the Corey Inn sweater by Little Theorem. It was a lot of fun to make. It took me 3 days to make it. What you are looking, you think you're looking at a sweater? You're not. You're looking at 5 yarn balls. Because I'm going to be knitting a new sweater off of this sweater. But I used every inch of yarn I had knitting the sweater, so I had to go back and buy more yarn. So I did. I got 3 more balls. I think I'm only going to need 2, and it's possible I would only need 1. But it starts with the sleeves. This is Cocoon, and this is Merino and Kid Mohair, and it is a lovely, lovely yarn, and it knits up really, really fast. But you start with the sleeves. The construction is amazingly fun. You start with the sleeves at the cuff, and then you knit up the sleeve in the round in a double moss stitch. And when you get to the armpit, you stop and you start knitting flat, and then you knit the back. And you do that on both sleeves, and then you connect the 2 sleeves, and so you end up with like a shrug to start. And so it's just easier for me to knit those sleeves 2 at a time. And if I'm knitting off of this, I didn't want to go to the bother of unballing it all, but I might do that. It may be too cumbersome to knit off of the sweater. We'll see. But anyway, I wanted, I think I'm going to start with 2 new balls. Although I don't recall if a ball was enough. I should be able to tell that. If a ball was enough to do a whole sleeve. And I think and the back. And it looks like it is. I don't see any ends, and I did not weave in the ends on this. I don't see any ends in there, so I think that'll work. So I'll say I won't start the 3rd ball. I might be able to return it, although it's lovely yarn, so I might just keep it. But I took the last that they had. They only had 3 left. This was at my local yarn shop. So anyway, this sweater was massively too small for my mother. So, my mother's having trouble making new memories. And so, last time I was wondering if it was like terrible to kind of count on that, because I put it on her. She's like, oh, the sleeves are a little too short. It was obviously too small. I took it off her. I put it in the bag, and I put the bag in the car really quick, and we didn't talk about it again. And I have no doubt that in 2 weeks when I go and give my mother this sweater, she will love it. And if she has any slight inkling memory of it, she'll, she'll probably mention it. But I won't be surprised if she doesn't, because she had this sweater on for such a short time. But I just, so I didn't want to go on and on about the sweater. And I should have taken my mother's measurements, which I did not. So I sat down and where's my book? I sat down and I drew out this sweater. And I measured the sweater to see what I had actually done. And OMG. First of all, I think the I think I picked too small of a size. But my gauge is so much tighter than it's supposed to be that the sleeve ended up 2 inches smaller in circumference around the top of the arm. So I will be recasting on this sweater and later today. But I'm a little bit not sure what to do, because well, first of all, I went back and rewatched the podcast where I talked about this sweater and I didn't mention the needle size, which, I mean, I think you guys aren't that interested in the needle size. But since I don't think I made a project page for it, I don't remember the needle size I used. And, I like the fabric of it. It's nice and dense. I think it'll keep her warm. So I would be happy enough to use the same needle size. I guess I'm just going to have to swatch like a good knitter and figure out what needle size I want to use. So her birthday's on the 26th. But I won't see her till the weekend. I'm pretty sure the 26th is a Thursday. So I have 2 weeks to re-knit this. I knitted in 3 days, so 4 days. So I should be able to do that. And it is lovely yarn, and it's a fun pattern. And when I was knitting it, I was thinking, well, maybe I should knit myself one. So I probably won't, since I'm going to have knit it twice. But I'm re-knitting this. This is the Curry Inn by Little Theorem. And I think this is the kind of sweater that will be really, really fun to just cuddle up in and fold across. So I'm going to go larger rather than smaller. And so if it's a little big for her, fine. I won't stretch it at all when I block it. I'll just let it do its thing, because it's a lovely stitch. And it's so squishy. So I think she's going to love it. I'm sure she liked the color. So anyway, that's my next project. I'm knitting that, and I have to have it finished because we're going on our trip shortly after we celebrate her birthday, and she'll be 85. She needs a sweater. So I did knit on one other thing. I have so much to do. These are my things to remember to talk about on this podcast. These are the things I have to do before Rhinebeck in my life. I've only crossed off 3 things. So I am kind of going crazy. So I have knitting on that list, and oh, spoiler alert, I've been working on the Speckle and Pop, and I'm going to show you. I am about a third of the way through clue 1. So if you've been paying attention at all, you've already seen this. But my Speckle and Pop is not on that list of things to do. I have no need to do this before Rhinebeck, and but knitting it was making me happy, and I was feeling stressed and wanted to do some happy knitting, and so I've been working on this. So if you don't want to see it, look away. And I watched Stephanie and Rebecca's podcast, The Mean Girls, last night, and they showed their Speckle and Pops, and they weren't happy with their yarn, and I felt so sad for them because I'm so excited about mine. Yeah, I don't know. And they're gonna soldier on because they're afraid they won't do it if they stop and start over with new yarn. But if it's not giving you joy, girls, I don't know. But anyway, mine is making me smile, I can tell you. So I have just I've just moved to knitting with my second color in total. So this starts with color 1, and then you have these pops. And I am using pops instead of just one color, which I think is helping too. I mean, does this look like a party or what? So all my pops that I'm doing are all minis that I got last year at Christmas time from Legacy Knits. I had their 25 days of Christmas adventy kind of thing. It wasn't exactly an advent, but and their minis are 20 grams, but every day I knit a tiny sock out of the mini that I opened up. So none of my minis are exactly 20 grams anymore because they all had a sock knit out of them. So I ended up adding a 6th color. So the pattern calls for 5 different colors of pop that you just keep going in rotation, keep using in rotation. And I added a 6th. I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough of my pops. So I have a pink, I have a yellow, kind of a bright yellow, I have a light green, sort of limey green, I have a purple, I have a blue, and then I have a darker green. And the yellow and the darker green have no sparkle, but all the other ones have sparkle. So I'm adding a little sparkle to my Speckle and Pop. I don't know what it is. I start podcasting, I start talking to myself, and I start coughing. So anyway, this section is where the 2 main colors are starting to be faded together. And now I'm in my second color. My second main color. So my first main color, and I gotta get these in bags or something, is this. And this is Kingslayer by this one didn't have a tag, and I can't ever remember, so I'm putting it up there. I did that last time too. But this is a beautiful Kingslayer. It's I'm not sure about my my lighting. That's, notice if I move, my lighting changes. Anyway, so this is a beautiful color. This I saw this color on the Naughty Knitwits. The version of this that I like better has more of the darker colors in it. But to tell you the truth, the darker colors do come out. You can see in the stripes that they're there. So I'm really, really liking this yarn a lot. It feels lovely. And I'm putting on there who this yarn is by because I forget. Somewhere in Great Britain. My second color is from the Crafty Toads. This is Down the Rabbit Hole. This was yarn I got from my subscription with them. They did a Destinations in Literature subscription, and this was Down the Rabbit Hole. So of course this is from trying to make a shadow. How do I make a shadow? Make a shadow. And that's better. Can see that better. So this is a beautiful kind of minty green with all kinds of speckles and pops, which of course is, well, speckles, which is of course what you want. Let me see if I can show this better. Yeah, that's better. Blocking the light a little bit. And then my third color, which I haven't gotten to yet, is also from the Crafty Toads from the Destinations. And this is the Marketplace at Akbar. So that's from Aladdin. And so I am really excited about my colors. So this is going to be so not my normal colors. But I have to, and whether I wear, how much I'll wear it, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. But I don't know. I'm getting braver, so I probably will wear it but it is making me smile while I'm knitting it. I can tell you that. So that's fun. But I have just started the second. So this is how much you do with the first. So I have a lot of knitting to go. I am so behind. Clue 3 is already out. But I'm enjoying it, and I hope I like the scarf when it's done. And I am just going to trot along behind everyone else, and I won't be keeping up in the least, and I am not letting it stress me out. But I have so many things on my list, and knitting on this was not on my list, but it made me smile, so I did it anyway. All right. That's it for knitting. All I did was work on my sweater and work on my shawl that I wasn't supposed to be working on. But I have some things I wanted to talk about, and I have some goodies to show you. A couple episodes back, I had mentioned that I've been asked to teach a knitting class at my local yarn shop. And I got a lot of good advice, and it was supposed to be a top-down sweater. She wanted to do the fade sweater. And so it turns out that she wanted these classes to be taught at the beginning of October. But when she asked what my timing could be, I said, it's December or after. And she's like, oh, wow, so she taught the class herself. And she's encouraging me to think about something I'd like to teach. And so I am thinking about that. But I am not going to be teaching a class eminently, because there was no way I would feel prepared enough to teach a class in like 2 weeks on a sweater pattern that I had never knit on. She's a yarn shop owner. She was interested in the fade because then she, with the idea that people would buy the yarn at the yarn shop and then, have help there, essentially, to help them knit the sweater top down. Which makes perfect sense, but I wasn't ready to do anything like that. So, but I still am thinking in the back of my mind about classes that I might like to teach, and I have also been thinking about things I'd like to learn, and brioche, of course, is on my list. And so I'm thinking maybe if I did some brioche, and I'd be brave enough to try to teach brioche once I felt comfortable enough doing it myself. So I have, I'm keeping that in my mind as I'm learning brioche, and as I, gonna start doing some brioche once I finish all my obligation knitting, which seems to be adding up. So anyway, I wanted to update you on that class thing, which turned out to not be happening anytime soon. So, but thank you so much for the encouragement. I really, really appreciate it. I really, really did. So let's see. Oh, rats. So I have talked about most of these things, so that's good. I got a beautiful pattern from the lovely Linda in our group. Thank you so much, Linda. You are such a sweetheart. It was a really pretty sock pattern. I think she's trying to encourage me back to sock knitting. And I'm not remembering the name of the pattern. I'll put it down here, and if I can figure out how to put a picture of it, I'll put a picture of it up there. But it's a really interesting stitch pattern, and I think I'm taking this pattern with me on my trip when I go to Egypt, because who knows, I might feel like doing some sock knitting while I'm there, and I do want to be prepared in case I do. And this looks like a lovely, lovely pattern, so I am definitely thinking I would do that. So I have some goodies that I want to share with you. A couple that I bought, and one I got my FiberShare package from Chile, from Maria in Chile. Hello, Maria. But I'm going to save that for last because it is kind of amazing. I mean, really amazing. And when I opened it, I felt a little bad. I have a friend who said she wasn't going to do, fiber swaps anymore because she'd been quite disappointed in her packages that she had gotten. She sends lovely, lovely packages and ends up getting, acrylic yarn and things like that. And I thought, oh, that's too bad. Too bad she wasn't paired with Maria because Maria sent me such amazing stuff. But I bought some stuff. I bought this, and to tell you the truth, now I'm not remembering the website, but I'll look it up and I'll put it down there because, oops, my ball band came off. I got this yarn. It's, I think it's a discontinued yarn, and that's what they sell. So it was really cheap. So it was like $3 a ball. Tara, it's 50% bamboo and 50% cotton. So this is my next, I'm planning on my summer sweaters. And so this is a summer sweater. I got 13 balls of this. This is 50% bamboo, 50% cotton, 110 meters per 50-gram ball. And isn't that pretty? This is, I think they called it Peridot. That's it, right there. It's a beautiful light green, almost like a light sage green. And I really liked it. So I ended up, I have a box full of this yarn. But I thought, I probably won't do another selgris, but it would make a beautiful selgris. I might change it up a little and maybe do a different pattern, but although I like that pattern and I like the sweater, so maybe I won't, who knows. But this is cotton and bamboo, so this is not going to have much give. So I need to make sure I have a sweater that has structure in it somewhat. So maybe I will do my first piece sweater for myself so that I have some structure in it, because this is bamboo and cotton, so it's not going to bounce back. Anyway, so this was, really reasonably priced. So it's like $40 for the yarn for a sweater. For me, I can't can't really do a 2-skein sweater. And then, speaking of summer sweaters, I watched Mars on the Hey Brownberry podcast. Hi, Mars! And she had made a beautiful t-shirt out of some naturally dyed yarn from Maria of the Ninja Chickens podcast. And it was so beautiful. I immediately went, look at her card, isn't that cute? Immediately went to her Etsy shop. She's Ninja Chickens on Etsy. And I will put a link to that in the show notes. And the show notes you can find in the Ravelry group, which I didn't mention. We have a Ravelry group. And I have a thread for every show, almost. And I figured out how to do show notes while I'm editing. I did that last time, and I was so much happier with how that went. So I think I'll do that again while I'm editing this afternoon. But anyway, so I will put a link to her Etsy shop. So this is eco printing. So this is printed with, dyed with logwood, printed with eucalyptus. So the dye, that's logwood in the background color and eucalyptus leaves. And when you undo this, it is going to be so lovely and speckly. I am so excited, but I'm going to need 2 more of these, so I've got my eye out for 2 more. I mean, they're not going to match, but I'll alternate. And it will be lovely. If you haven't seen Mars's podcast, Hey Brownberry, where she's wearing her t-shirt, you should go and look, because now you'll understand why I did this. So this is the first of 3. I'm going to need 3 of these to make a t-shirt. But this is my second summer knit that I am going to be making. And this is 80% superwash and wool and 20% nylon. So it's going to be a wool t-shirt. But I get cold. I'm always mad at myself when I have forgotten my shawl when we go out to eat or something like that. The third thing that I bought, this is my last, yarn box. Well, yarn box socks, because I have canceled my subscriptions. I have got to stop getting yarn into my stash that I haven't fallen in love with and specifically picked. Now, I actually like this yarn a lot, and I like the colors. This is Sugar Bush Itty Bitty. It's 50 grams, 153 yards. So that's like a sport weight, right? And I don't know what the color is. Doesn't say. It's 65% fine superwash merino, 25% nylon, 10% cashmere. So it's got 10% cashmere. I was watching, I think it was the Woolly Thistle podcast, but I could be wrong. But I watched a podcast. She's always talking about, when she talks about yarns, and she's very interested in rare breeds and things like that. And she had been talking to someone who knows a lot about yarn, and they said, if you have less than 20% cashmere, it's just for advertising purposes because you really can't tell. So they're advertising 10%. Anyway, so I got 3 of these. And I like the colors, I'm going to do something gray with this, but this yarn box socks comes in a plastic bag that is exactly, not quite, but exactly the size for a skein of yarn. And this is the packaging I got from Maria of Ninja Chicken. And see how that has a perforation there so that when you want to open it, you can open it. Yarn Box doesn't have that. They just have impervious plastic that you can't tear. They had a lot of trouble with yarns, their other packaging opening and stuff, so they went with that. But my package was so jammed full because there were 3 skeins in it that I had to cut it with scissors. And you know how they tell you don't open packaging with scissors? That's why. I could not get that plastic open without scissors, and it was jammed so full that I could not cut it without cutting the yarn, apparently. I'm not exactly blaming Yarn Box, but I kind of am. I mean, there was just no way. I mean, obviously I didn't want to cut my yarn, so I have 5 little ends. I have no idea what that's going to look like when I try to open this skein, but I can manage with it. But oh my gosh, that broke my heart. So I have 3 skeins of this. I really like it. I really like it. But, it's 65% superwash and 10% cashmere. So it's 75% wool and 25% nylon. So this is probably going to be in a shawl or something like that. So it'll be okay. But, oh my gosh. Don't use scissors if you can help it. But I don't know how I would have gotten that open without the scissors. Anyway. So I like the yarn. I'm sorry I cut it. Okay, and here we go. Thank you so much, Maria. FiberShare is a giant fiber exchange that you actually pay $7 to participate. And the rules of FiberShare, and they use that they had built some software, and, it's a whole big production because I think over 2,000 people participated in the latest FiberShare. And they also put together orphan packages if people's partners bug out on them and don't send things. They send packages. So that's what I understand what the $7 is for. And so you fill out a little form that, you know, what do you like? What kind of yarn do you like? What colors, what, you know, do you think, you know, what are you crochet? Do you knit? Do you spin? You know, what's your thing? And that kind of stuff, and a little bit about yourself, things you think somebody should know. And you get matched with two people, one person who you send to and another person who sends to you. So I sent to a lovely young woman in Canada, and I was going to take a picture of the yarn I sent her, and I forgot. But I got a lovely note from her, and she liked what I sent her. I'm so glad. I sent her some Prado de Lano yarn. Prado de Lano, and I'm putting it down here because I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, is actually local to me. It's in my county, and they have some beautiful yarn. I bought yarn from them at Vogue Knitting Live. That's where I found them first. And to make the bobble hat, I have enough yarn to make a couple bobble hats, which I haven't done yet, but maybe I should do that. I've been feeling like I need to make hats, and that would be really warm, because I was looking for not merino in Vogue Knitting Live. It was like everything in my life was merino. I want some other things, and I had found Cormo that was so lovely, you know, whatever. So they have Romney, and I don't know what else, but I bought Romney from them, and I bought Romney for my FiberShare partner, and then I gave her some other yarns too. So the rules for FiberShare, the only rule is you have to send at least 200 grams of nice wool. That's the rule. And other than that, you know, everybody makes their own package however they want. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so hot sitting here in this sweater. I have to take it off. So hold on. Okay, that makes me think I don't know how long I'm going to be able to wear that sweater at Rhinebeck, because that was a nice warm. Of course, the room is closed up too, so Pearl doesn't come in. I can't even imagine what havoc would be wrecked if Pearl got in this room. This door's always closed. So anyway, the person who sent me my package is a wonderful woman from Chile, Maria, who sent me some beautiful yarn from Chile. And I have been so excited going through this, and I've gone through it several times. I just love it. But I told her how interested Dennis and I are in Chile. We have a trip that we would like to do with our group that will take us through the Chilean fjords and up to the Atacama Desert. And so Chile has got a lot of amazing things. It's a very skinny country that goes all down the Pacific side of South America. If you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. Not that I know a lot about it, and you can, you know. But she sent us all kinds of wonderful information. I got a map, I got a book, I got a CD, which I have not read yet, about Patagonia, and some, you know, Easter Island is part of Chile. And there's the desert. And so she sent us these. Dennis was so tickled. In fact, we sat down and like planned our, you know, like we're going to go to Chile next year, you know, I mean, and then reality struck, but we were like ready to call and book because we are so excited. So thank you so much, Maria. What a lovely woman. And I'm so sad. She is coming to New York exactly when I can't go to meet her. I couldn't believe it, because my mother's birthday is when she's going to be there, and she's just missing Rhinebeck, which is very poor planning, Maria, very poor. So she sent me so many lovely things. I got a pen from Chile. And she sent me lots of little tags that say handmade. These are wood. And then she sent me this beautiful little macaroon holder. It looks like a macaroon. Isn't that cute? I can't believe how bright this is. And it's full of little tags that say handmade as well, different shape. And anyway, gorgeous, gorgeous. And this is going to go on my tree. Oh no, it's not. It's got a magnet on it. I didn't realize. Okay, so it's going on my fridge. Oh, no, it's not. It's going right here. It's going right here on my lamp. Because I'm looking at it. Because it's like this beautiful knit thing with knit bolt. And I'm thinking, if this goes in the kitchen, it's going to get all crummy. Even, it'll get dusty and greasy and whatever. It's going right there on my lamp. How fun. Anyway, so cute. But then she sent me amazing. Oh, and she made me a bracelet. She knit me a bracelet, and she said she had taken a class on knitting with beads, which is also on my list of things to do. And I love the colors. Isn't that beautiful? And so she took a class on knitting with beads and making this bracelet. And it is really lovely and so soft. And I love the color. Thank you, Maria. And then she sent me yarn. Oh, little clips. Paper clips they have magnets and stuff. They have a front and a back, and they're magnets, so you can use them as bookmarkers or paper clips. And the arrow will mark where you are, and they're succulents from like the Anaconda Desert. Anyway, so beautiful, so many things. So I got a lovely note from her, and all of the yarn had a note. She said her husband wrote it for her. Look at this beautiful handwriting, so that I would know what I'm getting. Because these are all from Chile in Spanish. So my Spanish is not good. So these are gorgeous, gorgeous yarns. This is 70% alpaca. And I don't know if that's better. And 30% merino. And these are llamas's wool, I think, and Duin. And it's Mazalamas. Unfortunately, I have a little trouble reading that, so maybe you can read it and see. Oh, Salinas, it's the name of the yarn. Duan. D-U-W-E-N. I should go on their website and see. Anyway, this is so gorgeous and feels like a dream. And look at those colors. So beautiful gray and a mint green. Oh my gosh, this is going to be like the best hat ever. Best two hats ever. Maybe a cowl. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. And I'm a big fan of Connie from Chili Knits. And look, she gave me some Chili Knits. My first Chili Knits. I need to go out on Connie's website and order more because I love her stuff. But look at this beautiful, beautiful yarn. So do you watch the Chili Knits podcast? Connie's great. She does it both in Spanish and in English, which is really sweet. This is her cuddly sock, which is 15% nylon and 85% superwash merino. And the colorway is Moon Valley. And look, and she has a pin that gives you the Kitchener stitch. Isn't that cute? But this is so gorgeous. Thank you, Maria. I really, really love this. I'm a big fan of Connie's, and I'm so excited to have some of her yarn. Thank you so much. And Connie's been talking about doing something with Mr. Wool. Now, I'm not sure who Mr. Wool is. I have to go back and look at some of her older podcasts. But this could be Mr. Wool because it says Mr. Wool. So this is also a merino. This is a 2-ply, 123 grams, 492 meters. So this is like 530 yards or something. But this is a little more rustic, but it's not itchy. So it's not smooth, but look at that beautiful color. And this is Mr. Wool, and I had never heard of Mr. Wool before. So, and it sounds like Connie is doing something with a Mr. Wool. So maybe I'm really in the know here. Thank you so much, Maria. But I love that color too. And then she also sent me, so are you counting? This is the 5th skein of yarn that she sent me. And I love this. This is linen and silk. Isn't that gorgeous? This is, I'm going to have to see if I can get more of this. It's quintessence. from quintessencealpaca.com. But this is linen and silk, and it feels so gorgeous. This is a very lightweight. So it's mulberry silk and linen. Wouldn't this make the most beautiful summer something? Well, I can make a lacy shawl out of this. I bet you there's enough yarn. It's 100 grams, but it's really, but it doesn't say what the yardage is. So, anyway, I love this too. So, thank you so much. Oh, and Angie included a bag. And this was from the worsted place that sells the worsted. Anyway, it was such a lovely, lovely package. And we're so excited to watch that video and come to Chile. And of course, I can't believe that exactly when she's coming is exactly when I can't go to New York. So that makes me sad because I would love to meet her. Her and her husband are coming to the city for a few days. But I don't think I can go. So that's too bad. But we will be going to Santiago. It's on our list of places. And when I do, I'll be wanting to take you out for lunch or something, Maria. So don't you... You'll be hearing from me. Believe me. She wrote me a beautiful card. Isn't that cute? And anyway, well, this was my first fiber share. And it was a wonderful, lovely experience. And so I will be doing it again. And because that was what a lovely package to get in the mail. So much fun. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Okay, so I have drawn the winners in the knit alongs. We have our ongoing Knit Tiny Things thread, and every quarter I draw a winner. And I think I pulled the same winner last time, but this is a different comment and different posting. I can tell you that because the number I picked was 127, which was posted a month ago, and it is Fire Threads Elizabeth. She posted a tiny sock, and Elizabeth, you won. So you won this beautiful bag by Aggie Carlos. And I'm putting her Etsy shop down there, and it's going in the show notes as well. So you'll have a link to Aggie's bags. And, oh, here it is. Aggie Pearls by the Shore. Her Etsy shop is called Aggie Pearls by the Shore. And she makes bags, and she sent me a scrubby. When she sent this, she sent me a scrubby. Oh my gosh, I love that scrubby. I have to go and order more scrubbies because she actually sells those in her Etsy shop as well. So anyway, this is your prize plus some stitch markers. And I don't know, a pig or a lamb or a sheep. I'm not sure which. Pig matches. Maybe a pig. So anyway, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for participating. I love seeing your little socks and your little things that you're knitting, so keep it up. We will have another quarterly prize at the end of the year, and we'll have a grand prize too. What the heck? And I have no idea what that's going to be. I don't know what the prize for the next quarterly drawing will be, but it'll be at the end of December or beginning of January, and to celebrate a year of knitting tiny things. My plan for my trip in November is to take yarn so I can knit tiny things, because I have to have that advent for my granddaughter ready by the end of November. And so I got to get on the stick. All right. So because I have such a long list of things I have to do before Rhinebeck, I decided to simplify my life and not put off deciding what the gift would be till after Rhinebeck and buy something at Rhinebeck, because it just suddenly started to feel too stressful. I wasn't sure how that was going to work, because I'm announcing the winners today, so I'm going to show you the prizes. So I have 2 skeins of yarn. So for the Spirit of Rhinebeck knit along, I pulled a winner from the chatter thread, and I pulled a winner from the finished objects thread. And so the winner of the finished objects will have first choice of what they would, which of the prizes they would like, and then the chatter thread person gets the second choice, or gets the one that she does not want. And hopefully neither of them are like a boo-boo prize, because they're lovely yarns that I have taken from my stash. So the 2 prizes are some beautiful Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the mandala colorway. I really love this. I have no idea why I haven't knit it, but the only reason I'm putting it in a prize is because I believe I can buy this again. If I didn't think I could buy it again, I would be keeping it, because I love it. I love the colors. I think it's beautiful. This will make a gorgeous, gorgeous shawl. And it will be, and included will be progress keeper, stitch marker, a sheep or a pig or whatever, and some stitch markers from me. So this is the prize number 1. So this is the Madeline Mad Tosh Light for prize number 1. The prize number 2 will also have stitch markers and progress keeper, and it is flying fibers. This is kind of a, that's more like the color back here. This is 65% superwash wool, 20% alpaca, and 15% nylon, and this is a sock yarn. And I bought this. These people are actually a couple hours from me, and they go to Rhinebeck and they go to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I bought this at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I haven't used it yet, but feels gorgeous, and it's a lovely color. I love that color. It's kind of a pinky, orangey, not really orange, rusty. That's a pretty good rendition of the color right there. So it's a lovely, lovely color, and it's going to have something and some just like the others. So those are the 2 prizes. So the winner of the finished object prize, because he did finish the sweater, you have to pick which one you like. So the finished object sweater prize goes to number 10, who is Borgia, and I'll put the name down here. Borgia RN is her Ravelry name, and she is from Ottawa in Ontario, Canada. And she knit a beautiful flax sweater. And in this knit along, you got an extra chance to win if you knit in hand spun. Now, I didn't say how to do that, so 2 people mentioned it's hand spun, and so I put an extra thing in there for them in the numbering system for them. Borgia did not mention in her post that it was hand spun, but when I went and looked at it to see what the pattern was and everything, it said on her project page that it was hand spun. So she did not get an extra entry for that, because she didn't mention that it was hand spun in the thing, but it didn't matter because she won anyway. So Borgia, you get first pick at whether you want the blue Tosh Merino Light or the I'm not sure what color this is, salmon. It's almost like a salmon-y color, like a dark salmon, yarn from Flying Fibers. So you get first pick. And the winner of the chatter thread, who gets second pick, sorry Vicky, is V Shaw 7. Hi Vicky. And Vicky was the winner there. She was number 12, which is what Siri picked. between 2 and 39 people talking posts in the chatter thread. So so you're the winner. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations, Elizabeth, Borgia, and Vicky. And so please contact me, message me on Ravelry that you have seen it. And Borgia, tell me which of the prizes you would prefer. And I will get those out. And if you contact me soon enough, I'll get those out before I go away in November. So those are all the things that I needed to do in this podcast. I think because of the timing, I think I'll be leaving in 3 weeks for my big trip. And if you're interested in that trip, I can tell you a little bit about it now because I'm not so sure how much I'll be able to talk about it. I don't think I'll talk about it in my Rhinebeck episode. And so anyway, so we are flying to Tel Aviv, and we stay 2 nights in Tel Aviv, I think. And then we drive down to Jordan. And I don't know why people call me. I get crank calls, not crank calls. I get, solicitation calls on my phone. But I get them few enough that it doesn't occur to me to put my phone on airplane mode. So anyway, I hope I can figure out how to add this on. So I started to say 2 days in Tel Aviv, and then we drive to Jordan, and we spend 2 nights near Amman, which I believe, I have to look at a map, which I believe is near the Dead Sea. And we're going to be able to swim in the Dead Sea and maybe take a trip into the city, to the marketplace and things like that. That should be fun. And then we're spending 2 days near Petra. And Petra is an amazing ancient city that was carved into the rock face, essentially. And so that should be really interesting to see. That's a bit of a hike. They say you have to be able to walk 5 miles over rugged terrain. But they said there may be horses and camels available, so I could take a camel ride into Petra. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll be the last one, let me tell you, because anytime we got to be walking like that, I'm last. But I'll be last. I don't care. I'm going. Then after Petra, we get on a ship, a cruise ship, that has 100 passengers or fewer, 85 passengers or something like that, a small ship. And we're cruised down to the coast of Egypt. And I think we're on the ship one night there. And then we essentially get off the ship for 3 nights, and we go into the Valley of the Kings, and we go to Luxor, and we'll see the Sphinx, and we'll see the Great Pyramids, and I am so excited. Then we fly back and go back to the ship, and we sail on this lovely small ship through the Suez Canal. And so we're sailing up through the Suez Canal and up along the coast of Israel, and we end up back in Haifa. And then we spend 2 days in Jerusalem and see that amazing city. So it really is a trip of a lifetime, and I am so excited. I am so excited. But the most exciting part to me on this trip is the Egypt part, where I get to see the pyramids and the Sphinx. And amazing, amazing. So I do realize, and I really do realize how lucky I am. Dennis and I thank our lucky stars every day. We just have been so lucky in our lives, and it is luck. Really is luck, We were in the right place at the right time, and we're healthy, and, all those things. So it ends up, Anyway, I just want you to know I know how lucky I am. I do. I really do. And with that, I guess I will go and see if I can figure out how to put the pieces of this together, because that phone call made a new video. And last time I had more than one video I was trying to copy. It couldn't find it. So anyway. So my plan is to do another podcast next week, at the end of the week after Rhinebeck and after our company goes home, and to talk a little bit about that. And you know, if you're tired of Rhinebeck, and I don't blame you if you are, if you can't go, people, you know, it's like really hard to see people going on, and you didn't get to go, and I understand that. So you may not want to watch that one. If you know, but if you do, I'll do one, because I'll have lots to, you know, and I'll try to be better about taking video and taking pictures and having, you know, helping you have the Rhinebeck experience, because it's a lot of fun. It'll be my second year, so I at least know what to expect this year, and I'll try to take some videos. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful time until I see you again, and I hope you have lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.